Well, Ollie, this is a beautiful segue into our new segment that's going to be happening throughout the season. You gave us some gold on lag putting. Let's take a look at that. Welcome to the Coaching Corner with Ollie Wilson. Now we're going to give you some putting gold. Now I think in putting there are two key elements. You can correct me, Ollie, if I'm wrong, but there's the performance, but then there's also the technical and the calibration. So give us some tips on the first calibration element.
Absolutely. So I've always loved to calibrate on a daily basis when I first get on the putting green with a chalk line. It allows me to get into a really consistent setup. Hand position, eye line, distance away, and then that way, over the time of playing over weeks and years, you're just really dialing it in for you. Now, once I put a chalk line down between 6, 8, 10 feet, I also like to have a string line elevated so that when I look down, that line is dissecting the ball. And for me, I know where I need my eyes to be to see a straight line. It's not the same for everyone. Everyone's got different eye dominance. Their head sits on their neck slightly different. So it's really important to kind of establish the distance away and where I can, when I look towards the hole, does that look straight? Because if it doesn't look straight, it's almost impossible for you to hit a good putt, because subconsciously you will always just kind of tweak it to where the subconscious thinks it should be. So first part is to get in the right eye position. For me, it's just slightly inside the ball, and so if I was looking down on the chalk line and the string line, it would dissect on this side of the ball. I know the distance away from the chalk line is going to be 2.5 putter heads for me. So I'd put that against the ball, 1, 2.5 to my toe line, shoulder width apart, and then I'm in a really, really consistent setup.
And this is so important, isn't it? Especially when you're playing at lots of different tournaments, to have that stable base that you can keep going back to. In terms of putting stroke, there's obviously lots of different arcs of strokes. This is obviously a very, very straight arc. What do you recommend for everyone at home?
Really, like, it's very dependent on your body makeup, the type of putter, where your hand position is, and the arc can fluctuate. So I personally don't deal with that too much. I have a setup. I know that my hand position and the shaft, I want the shaft to dissect and my forearms ought to be in a line. Once I know I have that, and then I'm hitting good putts, and if they're going in, clearly the stroke is pretty good because the face is coming back to where I want it to be. And that's, for me, is all I need to worry about. I don't need to worry about the actual arc. You can go down that route. There's lots of different putting methods, but you need to find out what the arc for you is, what the right one is, and not going just grabbing something off the shelf and trying to dial into that arc.
Everyone's going to be copying you at home, Ollie. Now, this is great because it's a straight putt, but you can also do this on putts with break. How would that work?
Exactly. So I would start here on as straight a putt as I can. Once I feel good there, I would then put a chalk line in on a breaking putt of maybe, again, 8, 10 feet with 2 cups of break. It really allows you to trust your stroke and trust the start line. I would put a tee in for where I would be looking for that straight line and let the gravity do the work and pull the ball into the hole. Then you're just building confidence in your stroke and your start line, and do it from right to left, left to right. You can come back to the straight, spend as much time as you want, but that really gets you dialed in with your tempo, your rhythm and confidence, and a great way to, you might not have time before the round to prep like that, but certainly if you have half an hour to go and work on your stroke, it's one of the best ways to get good.
No, I think it's amazing, and at the end of the day, every putt is a straight putt, and it's just such a good way to, you know, get at the start point and then take the golf ball to the hole. Let's now go to performance.
So this is one of my favourite drills I would do on tour when we go into new golf courses trying to get dialed into the speed. You have to adapt as a professional golfer on a daily basis, but especially when you go to a new tournament. Here in Mexico, we've got a bent grass power mix. They're quite quick. They're not massively true at times. We're seeing players get a little bit frustrated. But this is a great way. You don't want to leave yourself those nervy 3 and 4 footers. What we want to do is try and make sure we lag the ball up as close as we can for a stress-free tap in. So I've got tees at 20 foot, 30 foot and 40 foot. I'm going to hit 3 putts from each tee. And we're going to try and finish it respectively in the tee. So I've got a tee at 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet past. From 40 feet, within 4 feet, that's okay. We don't have to make it too hard. But I've also got a tee that's a foot short. A lot of amateurs always say, oh, you've got to get it past the hole. You absolutely don't have to. From this kind of distance, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, we're just trying to 2-putt. And if it goes in, brilliant. There's no stress. So I'm going to try and give this one a go.
Come on, Ol, you got this.
So just get into my consistent posture, a little bit of feel looking at the hole. I think a lot of amateurs tend to not look at the hole and tell their brain what they're trying to do. I'm going to try and aim this a couple of feet left. Little bumpy.
It's in the zonal.
Decent pace, tap-in birdie.
And you'll just work your way down the system.
Yeah, and so I would put 3 putts from there. I would hit all 3. If I don't get them all 3 in, I will then come back and do it again. And then once I've that, I can progress on to this distance. And you can start anywhere. It's very flexible. So a little bit more break. Little push. Little tentative, but again, like, no stress. Tapping, we're all good.
Right, and final one. Even
from here, I think amateurs get really caught up in trying to hole it, trying to get it past the hole, and, you know, want those things where you're playing with guys like, shall I give it a go? So, you know, shall I hole out so you can give it a go? Never makes sense, because you're trying to hit the same putt anyway. You just, from this distance, you're trying to just lag it in the hole and hopefully avoid any disasters.
It's a beauty. They're in the zones. The percentage of making this is very, very low if we look at tour average. So there you have it, everyone. We've got the technical, the calibration, and you've got the performance. Make sure you tune in for the rest of the season, because there's going to be loads and more gold from Oliver Wilson.